Welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report, where we bring you the latest and most exciting sports news every single day. If you love the Lakers, if you love basketball, or if you just love the intensity of the NBA playoffs, then you're definitely in the right place. Today's video is absolutely packed with drama, surprises, and some huge developments that could completely shake up the Western Conference playoff picture. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around for all of it, because what's happening right now could set the stage for one of the wildest postseason runs we've seen in years. There's a lot to cover today: major wins, unexpected losses, last-minute heroics, and potential matchups that could either make or break a team's championship hopes. And yes, we're going to dive deep into what this all means for our Lakers, but also look at the bigger picture across the entire West. So buckle up, because this ride is just getting started. Even though the Lakers didn't have anything to play for in terms of standings today, that was definitely not the case for a lot of other teams in the Western Conference. Pretty much every team outside of the top three, OKC Thunder, Houston Rockets, and of course the Lakers, had something on the line. We saw a bunch of games today that were absolute must-wins, and the intensity was off the charts. One of the biggest stories was the Denver Nuggets, who managed to win their game and, in doing so, secure the number 4 seed. That's huge because it means they avoid the dreaded play-in tournament, which, as we know, can be absolutely brutal and unforgiving. But it wasn't a sure thing for them. Had they lost, they could have easily fallen to the 6th or even 7th seed, depending on how other results played out. Imagine that, a team with championship aspirations barely squeaking into the playoffs or even risking elimination in the play-in. That's how tight the Western Conference has been this year. Now, because Denver locked up the 4 seed, they'll be facing the LA Clippers in the first round. And if you didn't catch the Clippers game today, let me tell you, it was insane. They pulled off a thrilling overtime victory against the Golden State Warriors, a game that had massive implications not just for them, but for the entire playoff landscape. At one point, it looked like the Warriors were going to pull it off, and if they had, the entire bracket could have looked different. But no, the Clippers dug deep, showed their resilience, and sent the Warriors tumbling down into the play-in tournament. That's right, the Warriors, a team that many still view as dangerous thanks to their championship pedigree, are now stuck in the play-in. It's crazy to think about, but honestly, it kind of feels like karma for how up and down their season has been. Because of all that chaos, the Lakers now officially have their first-round opponent, the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I have to say, if you had given me a choice between facing the Warriors or the Timberwolves, I would have picked Minnesota every single time. Not that either matchup would have been easy, let's not kid ourselves. But just based on style, experience, and potential volatility, Minnesota is the better draw for the Lakers. Golden State is a team that, no matter how rocky their regular season might be, can suddenly click into gear once the playoffs start. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, these guys have been through the wars, and they know how to win when it matters most. The Timberwolves, on the other hand, are talented but still relatively unproven when it comes to playoff basketball. Could this be the opening the Lakers need to make a real deep run? Is this the first sign that the stars might actually be aligning for them? Let's not forget, though, Minnesota is no pushover. They finished the season just one game behind the Lakers, 49-33, compared to LA's 50-32. That tells you everything you need to know about how competitive the West was this year. A single bad week could have sent any team tumbling down the standings. And when you look at the head-to-head matchups between the Lakers and Timberwolves this season, it was dead even, 2 wins apiece. The Lakers took the first game on opening night, a really emotional win to kick off the season, winning 110-103. That night felt like a statement, like the Lakers were ready to build something special. But then the Timberwolves clapped back hard in their second meeting, blowing the Lakers out 109-80. That was a brutal loss and a wake-up call about some of the issues the Lakers needed to fix. What's interesting is how different both teams look now compared to when they first met. The Lakers roster has evolved significantly over the course of the season. Early on, they were trying to run their offense heavily through Anthony Davis, and while AD is a beast on both ends, it was clear that strategy had its limits. Since then, they've made adjustments, brought in new pieces, and rebalanced their attack. Could this more balanced version of the Lakers be exactly what's needed to exploit Minnesota's weaknesses? Some insiders believe that if the Lakers can control the tempo and force Minnesota into half-court sets, they could really tilt the series in their favor. Meanwhile, for the Timberwolves, a lot hinges on the health and performance of their 2 biggest stars, Karl-Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. When they're firing on all cylinders, Minnesota is extremely dangerous, versatile, athletic, and capable of big scoring runs. But both have had their inconsistencies, especially when the pressure ramps up. Towns in particular has struggled at times in playoff environments, and you can bet the Lakers will be looking to exploit that. Is it possible that the bright lights of a high-stakes series against the Lakers could rattle Minnesota's young core? Fans are wondering if this could be the beginning of another early exit for the Timberwolves and the continuation of a deep playoff run for the Lakers. Zooming out a bit, the rest of the West is equally fascinating. The OKC Thunder, sitting pretty as the top seed, still don't know who they'll be facing. It could be the Sacramento Kings, the Dallas Mavericks, the Golden State Warriors, or the Memphis Grizzlies. If you're asking me, I think it's most likely going to be the Grizzlies. Golden State should win their first play-in game, sending Memphis into a do-or-die situation where they could get knocked out entirely by either Sacramento or Dallas. Memphis is in turmoil. No other way to put it. They fired head coach Taylor Jenkins just a couple of weeks ago, a shocking move considering the timing. How often do you see a playoff team fire their coach right before the most important stretch of the season? It's almost unheard of, and it screams dysfunction behind the scenes. If Golden State wins and secures that matchup with Houston, watch out. I know Houston has been one of the best regular season stories, but the playoffs are a different beast. The Warriors' playoff experience, their ability to lock in defensively, and their clutch shooting could absolutely overwhelm a young Rockets team. Some people are already speculating that if the Warriors can get past Houston, and if the Lakers can beat Minnesota, we could have a Lakers-Warriors rematch in the second round. Could you imagine the drama? LeBron versus Curry, round 1000. The storylines write themselves. But again, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. The first step for the Lakers is handling business against the Timberwolves, and it's not going to be easy. Minnesota's size with Towns and Rudy Gobert can pose real problems for LA inside. The Lakers are going to need huge performances from Anthony Davis, not just on offense but especially on defense, controlling the paint and limiting second-chance opportunities. D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura will also need to step up, providing consistent perimeter scoring and energy. If the Lakers can get that balanced attack going, they have a real chance to not just win the series, but to do it in 5 or 6 games. On the flip side, the Timberwolves are probably thinking the same thing, that they can exploit the Lakers' occasional tendency to get stagnant offensively and their sometimes shaky transition defense. If Minnesota can force turnovers, get out on a break, and catch a sleeping, they can absolutely steal games in this series. Could this first-round battle come down to nothing more than which team stays mentally tougher? Which team makes fewer mistakes? It's very possible. The margin for error in the Western Conference is razor-thin this year, and every possession is going to matter. That's why playoff basketball is so special. It's not just about talent. It's about grit, focus, and execution under pressure. And if there's one thing the Lakers have shown us over the years, it's that they can rise to the moment when it counts. Will they do it again this year? That's the million-dollar question. Another big X factor in this series could be coaching. Darvin Ham has taken his fair share of criticism this season, but now it's time for him to show what he's made of. Playoff basketball is all about adjustments, the ability to tweak lineups, change strategies mid-series, and exploit matchups. If Ham can win the coaching battle against Chris Finch, that could be a huge boost for the Lakers. It's going to be fascinating to see what kind of rotations he uses, especially when it comes to handling Minnesota's size advantage inside. And speaking of rotations, keep an eye on guys like Gabe Vincent and Jared Vanderbilt. Both have been dealing with injuries for parts of the season, but if they're healthy and ready to go, they could be major difference makers. Vanderbilt's perimeter defense and energy could be key against someone like Anthony Edwards, while Vincent's shooting and playmaking could give the Lakers another weapon off the bench. Depth matters more than ever in the playoffs, and the Lakers finally look like they have the kind of depth that can win them tight games. Let's also talk about LeBron James for a second, because how could we not? Even at 39 years old, he's still playing at an unbelievable level. His basketball IQ, his ability to control the pace of the game, and his sheer will to win are unmatched. This is the time of year when LeBron usually reminds everyone why he's considered one of the greatest to ever do it. Expect him to be in full playoff mode from the opening tip. If he's locked in, if he's attacking the rim, setting the tone defensively, and hitting those dagger threes, it's going to be very tough for Minnesota to stop him. Anthony Davis, too, has so much riding on this series. After the ups and downs he's faced over the past couple of seasons, injuries, criticism, and questions about consistency, This is his moment to reassert himself as one of the league's most dominant forces. When AD is healthy and aggressive, he's a game changer on both ends of the floor. He can completely take over a series, and if he plays to his full potential, the Lakers' ceiling gets a whole lot higher. But it's not just the stars. Championship runs are built on role players stepping up. Austin Reeves has shown he's capable of huge playoff performances. Rui Hachimura has proven he can be a mismatch nightmare with his size and shooting touch. And D'Angelo Russell, despite his inconsistencies, can absolutely catch fire and change the momentum of a game. If even 2 out of those 3 guys have big series, it could swing the whole thing in LA's favor. On the Minnesota side, you have to respect what they've built. Anthony Edwards is a budding superstar, and Karl-Anthony Towns, for all his criticisms, is still one of the most skilled big men in the game. Add in Rudy Gobert's defensive presence, and you have a team that can cause a lot of problems. They're hungry, they're physical, and they're looking to make a statement. This is not going to be a cakewalk. It's going to be a dogfight. One interesting subplot is the psychological factor. The Lakers have been there and done that. They know what it takes to win under the bright lights. Minnesota, meanwhile, is still trying to figure that out. Sometimes in the playoffs, experience matters more than anything else. When the pressure ramps up and the games get tighter, who's going to stay composed? That could end up being the deciding factor in this series. Another thing to watch: pace. The Timberwolves like to run when they can, but they're not nearly as dangerous in a slowed-down half-court game. The Lakers need to control the tempo, limit transition opportunities, and make Minnesota grind out every possession. If LA can dictate the pace, it's going to put a lot of pressure on the Timberwolves' young stars to execute under tough conditions. From a tactical standpoint, I'm curious to see how the Lakers defend the pick and roll. Minnesota will try to involve Towns and Gobert in a lot of action to pull AD away from the rim or force switches. LA's defensive communication and rotations will have to be on point. A few breakdowns here and there, and Minnesota could rack up easy buckets, and in the playoffs, easy buckets are gold. And let's not overlook the emotional swings. Playoff series are all about momentum. One big shot, one controversial call, one flagrant foul, any of those can completely change the vibe of a series. The Lakers have to stay emotionally steady, especially on the road. If they let frustrations boil over or start playing hero ball, they'll be playing right into Minnesota's hands. Honestly, I'm expecting a long series. I think the Lakers win it, but I wouldn't be shocked if it goes 6 or even 7 games. Minnesota is too good to just roll over, and they're going to come out desperate, especially if they fall behind early. The Lakers will have to match that energy every single night. No taking quarters off. No relaxing after a big win. It's got to be full throttle from Game 1 to Game 7, if necessary. But what do you think about all of this? Do you feel confident about the Lakers' chances against the Timberwolves? Or are you worried about a potential upset? Personally, as a diehard Lakers fan, I'm feeling cautiously optimistic. I know there's a lot of work to do and no guarantees in the playoffs, but if this team plays up to its potential, if they stay healthy, and if they stay locked in, I truly believe they have a real shot at making another deep run. I'm fired up, and I honestly cannot wait for the playoffs to officially start. It's going to be an absolute war, and I wouldn't want it any other way. I can't wait to read your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Lakers News Fan Report, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Now let's get ready for an epic playoff journey.